I don't know if you remember, but before I remind you, just let me say, this is a really hard concept for some students to understand. And I don't get it because it's so straightforward. There is a maximum size I want your JPEGs. The maximum width is 2,500 pixels, nothing larger than that as far as a JPEG goes. I'm not talking about your Illustrator file or your Photoshop file. I'm talking about the JPEG itself. And we're going to get to how to change this. Okay? And no more than 1,500 pixels high. That doesn't mean I want your images to be 2,500 by 1,500. I can't tell you how many kids think I just said, make all your images 2,500 by... No, because you can tell right here, this image is far wider than it is tall. And if you recall, it was 2,900 pixels, and I said, that's too wide. And I would make another video to explain what size is correct. Now, so remember these numbers, 2,500, 1,500, width and height. So now, skipping from the triad color harmony, let's head over to Illustrator and a square color harmony. We're going to do these, by the way. You're going to set up color harmonies through color.adobe.com and build your own way to present them clean, efficient, effectively. And there are countless ways to do this. This is not the only one. But if I wanted to put this, like each of these, on my website, I would save for the web, Shift-Option-Command-S, File, Export, Save for Web. You know, check the last video if you can't remember that. But, yes, it's JPEG high. And down here, the width is 2,900, and the height is 1,000. Well, didn't I say the maximum width is 2,500? So, but I also said the maximum height was 1,500. What if you change the height to 1,500? What would happen to the width? Well, look. 4,350. I think that's bigger than 2,500, don't you? So instead of changing the height, let's change the width, the one that's too big, to 2,500. And hit Tab. And now that resizes. This file is now 2,500 pixels wide. It's only 862 tall. But the important part is it does not exceed our maximum width. Right here, the 2,500 pixels wide. So, a couple of things I just want to remind you. Do not uncheck this little lock icon, because that ensures that you don't change. When you change one of these, the other one changes too. Because otherwise, you will stretch this. It will become taller or thinner. You never want to do that when you're saving your file for the web. This should always remain locked. Now, is this the best way to save your files and to organize them? Well, in Illustrator, if we're working with straight vectors, this is perfectly fine. In Photoshop, this will work, but there's a better way. And I will help you learn that better way sometime in the future. But for right now, I need you to understand that this maximum width cannot exceed 2,500 pixels. The maximum height cannot exceed 1,500 pixels. These are for your JPEGs, not your Illustrator file. Do you get it? And if this file were tiny, if this thing were only 500 pixels wide, say 200 pixels high, well, this is all vectors. I could make this 2,500 pixels wide or 2,000 pixels. You know, taking it right to the limit is not necessary. Making it too small, well, that's ridiculous. I don't want to see something on your journal that, you know, is this big if it can be this big, right? Okay, you're going to have to practice this. I will remind you of this in many videos to come when we're working on projects, and I will reinforce this consistently. But please don't turn in JPEGs that are 4,000 or 5,000 pixels in one direction or the other. Be aware of the image size. See it right there? Image size.